I think we all know that the simple act of putting things on a shelf and actually making them look stylish together can be a bit of a conundrum. Like everything in interior styling, there is an art to it, so let's talk about it. I have shelf styling hot on my mind because I just styled these shelves behind me here soon after Kobe and I painted our wall black. Watch this video if you want to see how that process went down. So once we painted our wall black, I was ready to do some serious shelf styling. So in this video, I am going to walk you through how I styled our shelves here and give you my tips for making your shelves look stylish, exquisitely arranged, and packed with your unique personality. By the end of this video, you will have everything you need to style your shelves like a pro. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Steffi, and I'm the creator of the interior style blog, Moda Misfit, as well as the online course, Small Apartment Styling School, and you're watching Living Pretty, the place for apartment styling tips. So let's start with this list of items that you can use in your shelf styling. This is a list of common and not so common accessories that you can put on your shelves. I encourage you to screenshot this screen so that you can go back to it whenever you're styling a shelf and you need ideas on what you can actually use. Basically, to start us off, I wanted to just list out every possible item, at least that came to my head. If you think of any, please drop them in the comments below. Basically just a list of everything that came into my mind that you could use to style a shelf. Because when you actually approach a shelf to style it, it can be very easy for your mind to go blank and for you to get stuck with like, what do I actually put on this shelf? So use that list, look around your apartment, see if anything you own is on that list, and then start playing around with styling them on various shelves that you have. And you can also use this list to serve as a shopping list for potential new items that you can get for your shelf styling endeavors. So no more feeling stumped, no more wondering, what can I actually put on this shelf other than a candle and a succulent? Now you have a list of ideas. And again, if anything is missing from this list, comment below and let me know. So what I've done is I have laid out a whole bunch of decor right here. Some of it was previously on the shelves before we painted. Some of it has been stored away. But basically my tip with this is to get all of your decor, or at least a good amount of your decor, and just lay it all out. It's gonna look like chaos. It's gonna be even a little bit stressful, but it's nice to just keep things super visible so that you can start working your styling magic. So this chaos is destined to create beauty over here. So now that you have a comprehensive list of possible shelving accessories, let's talk about how you can arrange those accessories in an aesthetically pleasing way. Hilo loves talking about shelf styling arrangement, by the way. That's why she came over here. Right, kitty? So I'm gonna share 5 different styling tactics that just basically guarantee that your shelf styling will look aesthetically pleasing. First thing you want to consider is the tried and true, create triangles. When placing really anything on any surface, when in doubt, create triangles. This means on a single shelf or portion of a shelf, try grouping 3 items together in a triangle shape. I've said this before on many of my videos, but I'm gonna say it again. Triangles are just a magical shape that are pretty much always visually pleasing to the human eye. The human eye just loves triangles for some reason. I'm sure there's some mathematical, scientific, psychological reason for this, but let's keep it simple. Triangles are just pretty. So when styling a shelf, try taking 3 items, grouping them together, and making them form a triangle shape. You basically just can't go wrong with that. My next styling tactic is to create groupings of items. Basically, instead of just lining items up and filling the entire space of a shelf with a straight line of items, try grouping them together. You can group things together in a triangle shape like I just talked about, or you can group together multiple items. The idea here is to create little pockets of visual interest. Create multiple points for your eye to land. This is a great way to avoid that sort of hodgepodge cluttery look. Just try to find ways to cluster items together and create little, almost like tableaus for your shelf styling, little mini stories. My next styling tactic is to stagger items or layer items. Again, instead of lining things up in a row, try layering things and staggering them. Have them overlap with each other. This creates a layering effect that makes your shelf styling feel multi-dimensional, textured, and visually interesting. Another styling tactic you want to use when arranging items on a shelf is to create a sense of variety. So when you're grouping things together, like I talked about earlier, think about variety in height, variety in material, variety in subject matter. So for example, instead of placing two items that are the same height next to each other, try varying the height. So if you have a tall vase, try a small candle next to it. In terms of height, you basically want a grouping of items to create sort of a zigzag. This simply creates more visual interest and tells more of a visual story. And the fifth styling tactic for arranging things on a shelf has been pretty much implied in every one of these styling tactics, but I want to drive it home, and that is to generally avoid creating straight lines. Of course, there are plenty of exceptions to this rule. I've created some straight lines in my own shelf styling, but those straight lines that I've created are very intentional. And there are plenty of examples, I'm sure you could find, of straight line item arrangements that look really beautiful. But in general, at least while you're experimenting with arranging your shelf items, try to challenge yourself and arrange things in triangles, in groupings, staggering things, layering things, and only resort to creating a straight line if it really makes sense for the items that you're working with and it tells the visual story that you're trying to tell. And the final aspect of shelf styling I'm going to talk about is probably the most important aspect of styling a shelf, or really any interior styling whatsoever, and that is to incorporate your personality into the styling. It's all about marrying styling tricks and tactics with your personality to create a space that truly reflects you, as well as being beautiful. A good place to start if you want to learn more about my approach to incorporating personality into interior styling would be this video. I will link to it below. And if you want an even deeper dive into this, my online course, Small Apartment Styling School, has an entire lesson on finding accessories that express your personality. It walks you through exactly what to do step by step so that you can find accessories and interior styling items that actually reflect you as a person in a stylish way. And that lesson, honestly, is just one part of Small Apartment Styling School. This course of mine is 5 hours long. It has 23 interior styling lessons that take you from start to finish through the entire styling process. From how to get started, to discovering your personal style and establishing the vision for your apartment, to shopping for your apartment, and finally arranging and accessorizing your apartment. So if you're sick of piecing YouTube videos together and random Pinterest advice articles together, and you just want a single resource that takes you from start to finish, step by step, how to create a beautiful apartment that reflects your personality, then I definitely recommend you check out Small Apartment Styling School. I will link to it in the description below, and you can learn more, see if it's a good fit for you, and you can enroll. You can enroll anytime. But if you're not ready for something as immersive and in-depth as Small Apartment Styling School, let's talk about how to incorporate your personality into your shelf styling specifically in a nice, simple way. Simply put, I want you to identify your interests, your passions, and just things about your personality, and find accessories that express those things about you in a stylish way. That is the trick, is doing this in a stylish way, which this video goes into on how to actually delineate between the things that are personality pieces that and also stylish versus the things that will give your apartment kind of more of a dorm room vibe, which we generally want to avoid, I think. So for example, for Kobe and I, our main personality theme for our shelves is music. Kobe and I love music. It's something we bonded over from the beginning of our relationship. So it only makes sense that it would feature prominently on our shelves and eventually in the decor of our apartment as we keep decorating it. And you can see this love of music displayed through the Jose Gonzalez album we have here, which cleverly, if I do say so myself, hides this mess of wires here. So there's a hot tip for you. If you need to hide a bunch of wires, a record does a pretty decent job of that. You can also see music reflected through these piano keys, my Taylor Momsen of the Pretty Reckless canvas, and this Jim Morrison book cover that stares relentlessly into our souls. Then, in addition to the music theme, we also have my love for Death Note displayed, Kobe's love of old boxes, bottles, and books, which lends themselves to the old apothecary look I personally love, and this stunning Lalique piece that was given to me by my Uncle Dennis. It's one of those precious heirloom pieces that will be passed down in the family for generations. So of course it has tons of meaning. Hi, Uncle Dennis, I love you. My Uncle Dennis watches all of my videos, so I want to give him a shout out. Hi, Uncle Dennis. So think about what your personality pieces can be. What's meaningful to you? And think about how you can incorporate these parts of your personality into your shelf styling. This is how you breathe humanity and emotion and meaning into your styling. So it's not just about being pretty, it's about actually putting things on display that make your apartment feel like your home. This is where the soul of interior styling lives. It's in those personality pieces. So there you have it. You now have a list of possible shelf accessories that you can use. You have my go-to styling tactics for actually arranging those items. And now you have a way to incorporate your personality in your shelf styling. Let me know in the comments below, in addition to letting me know if I missed anything from my list of shelf accessories, let me know in the comments below, what are some ways that you can incorporate your personality in your shelf styling? Let me know what those interests of yours, what your passions are, and try to think about how you can make them visually come alive on your shelves. And remember, your apartment and your shelves are destined to be pretty, and you are pretty powerful.